Resource is a digital storytelling and educational site produced by the Rockefeller Archive Center. The name is a play on the word resource, of course, but it's also a play on the fact that our work is about sources, the sources of the world we live in today, revealed through archival sources in hundreds of collections preserved at the Archive Center. We publish about 3 new stories each month. You can always see the most recently published pieces on our homepage. We also use the homepage to curate story collections, such as this one on philanthropy and public health. We try to push forward content that is both historically grounded and relevant to current issues. The best way to stay up to date on what we're working on is to subscribe to email alerts. You'll know when we publish a new piece, and you'll also receive a monthly newsletter from Barb Shabinsky, our Director of Research and Education. We produce photo essays, timelines, narrative pieces, and research reports covering a broad array of topics. For example, here are all of the stories tagged under the environment theme. The orange boxes represent additional topic tags. When I click on a piece, I can see the other topics the story falls under. The Issues in Philanthropy category explores philanthropic practice and strategies, like field building in this case. As I scroll, I can get a sense of what the piece is about from headings, quotes, and images. These little orange numbers expand to show citation information. For example, I can find the archival context for the Rockefeller Foundation grant, mentioned here, by clicking on the number 2. Click the X to make the citation go away. Access is a core value at the Archive Center, so when you click on an image and resource, you're taken to an attachment page to tell you more and provide a download link, like this. Back to the piece, you can see that we've taken a more journalistic approach in our style and format on resource. We also link out to external websites that we find useful and put us into conversation with peer institutions and current issues. At the bottom are suggested additional pieces. New Research is a monthly series that rounds up the most recent publications in our RAC research reports. These reports are produced by researchers we fund through our travel stipend program and are published through Candid's Issue Lab. I mentioned some of the other story types we produce on Resource. Timelines are a way to pull together several stories and present many historical episodes in context. This timeline on foundations and public health is a cross-institutional look at how philanthropy has fought diseases, created structures and systems, developed vaccines, engaged in global programs, built institutions, and innovated new approaches. Some of the elements on the timeline link out to more developed stories on Resource. For example, clicking this point in time takes us to a longer story on the Rockefeller Foundation's support for Alfred Kinsey. You can access our story archives by theme by clicking on the orange topics above a story title. So for example, this takes me to the stories on medicine and public health. On Resource, we view photos as important archival records and storytelling features, not just ornamentation. This photo essay tells the story of how a philanthropic fund fought hookworm disease. Each image links to an attachment page with more information about the image. In our stories, we always link to related content. For example, this piece is a deep dive into how the Rockefeller Sanitary Commission's hookworm campaign in the U.S. South helped lay the groundwork for a public health system. It's a developed exploration into this history using photos, archival documents, and other records. It also includes this fun gallery of an educational book for children. Whenever possible, we also embed into Resource stories archival videos from the Archive Center's collections. For example, this 1920 film is from the Rockefeller Foundation collection and has been digitized and published on our YouTube channel. Resource is also our venue for sharing educational materials for primary source teaching at all levels, from older elementary children to graduate students. Each of these buttons represents an open source teaching unit that uses our archival collections. When I click through, I'm taken to OER Commons, an online library of open source educational resources. And there's my resource. So through the Resource site, we hope to provide an entry point into the history of American philanthropy and its impact on U.S. and global life. Many of these stories can serve as food for thought about current discussions and debates too. Thanks for exploring.